Okay. Look, these people knew what they were introducing into our space. Okay. I want you to let that sink in. They knew it. And they were okay with it because they thought it would get them additional support. But they were completely and totally fine with calling us radical, toxic, and extreme. And it's gotten to a point where you now have Black women who are serial baby mamas, right? So anyone who has grown up around Black people knows that you are a serial baby mama once you have kids by more than two men. But they were okay with introducing that into the space. Their only concern was for themselves. They know how to be self first when it comes to them. But then when it comes to other Black women who are not in their situation, it becomes a problem. I don't have personal conversations with people from the internet about my actual life, but I know Black women who have had children and they've been married. Let me tell you something. One of my forever friends, which is what I call my childhood friends, is a girl whose mom literally had 7 kids. 7 kids. We don't particularly know who her other siblings were fathered by, but guess what? Guess what? She got married, and the man who married her still is recognized as the father to her children and the grandfather to their grandchildren. One of my white friends, who is a member of the gay community, okay, his mother is a victim of domestic abuse. She's a domestic abuse survivor. And when she left her husband and she was in Southwest Virginia, so she didn't have a lot of resources, guess what? A white man married her, supports her, provides for her, takes care of her. And her oldest son is a member of the gay community. Okay, so he doesn't have kids. But her youngest son is married and has kids, and guess the fuck what? Those kids are his grandkids. And he doesn't sit around here talking about like, oh no, I'm not going to provide for these little children. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? And as Black women, we have to understand the ways that our humanity and our race as women are literally being stripped away from us. Because on the one hand, if you're Black and you're a woman and you have kids and you're marriage or relationship didn't work, these motherfuckers are saying, oh, well, that's your problem. But then if you're a Black woman who doesn't have kids, they say, well, oh, something must be wrong with you. And they have all of these Black women who are on guard and who are prepared to defend them either way. And it's like, well, wait a minute. So if Black women choose to have their children, then it's a problem for them having children and loving those children and raising them regardless of the situations with the fathers, right? But then if you're a Black woman and you're childless, whether you choose to be child free, you're child free because there are women across racial lines who cannot have children naturally. And then there's a growing layer of Black women who waited until we were married or waited until we were in, some people don't want to be married, right? So you wait until you're in a relationship with a Black man, and then you find out, okay, you can't have children. And then you have conversations about the fact that a lot of these men are infertile, okay? A lot of them can't even sexually satisfy a woman. But when we have those conversations, it's like, well, oh, the problem is you. But then you have women everywhere, whether they're from other communities, other countries, saying that these niggas don't really satisfy you. Then all of a sudden it's a problem. No one wants to have the conversation about the fact that Black men are more likely to be unable to have basic sex. They deal with prostate cancer and they have high blood pressure, and all of that causes them to deal with issues that makes it pretty. Listen, them motherfuckers will not sexually satisfy you. In the meantime, as a Black woman, your sexual desire heightens as you get older. It just does. That's our chemistry, that's our biology. So you have all of these men saying that they enjoy sexual experiences with Black women. They enjoy relationships with Black women. They enjoy our overall honesty, right? So I know that sometimes as Black women, we can be very direct, but they enjoy it. But then you have this entire space of other Black women saying that we are wrong for expressing ourselves. And then when it comes to those of us who are Black women and we are divested, and we have been very concerned about our space and what it means Because let's be clear, divestment means that we understand our position in the world. So we don't disregard history, but we also know that history is not what is causing what Black women are going through now. You have Black men, and Black men feel entitled to Black women. They feel like whatever we have is theirs. And it's like, well, wait a minute. If I accomplish something or you have done something as a Black woman, they feel like it is theirs. And that's a dangerous position to be in. And the reason that I cannot respect or tolerate pro-Black Black women is because, okay, these niggas talk all this shit. They talk all this shit, but they don't have a military or a law enforcement to protect you. Take a look at what is going on with the conversations with the Mexican president and how he is literally telling this country, well, okay, if you decide to fuck with me, he will tell every Spanish speaking person in the United States not to vote with a certain party. You don't think China won't do that? You don't see what's going on with Iran right now? You aren't paying attention with North Korea? They're letting they're literally letting the white men in this country know, hey, if you fuck with us, guess what? They have their own nations, they have their own resources, they have their own military. Okay? There's never been a response from Black men in this country or Black men in parts of the world that matches that. Where is their military? Where's their justice system? We don't have that. The only one we have is here in the United States. So that's why I always felt like it was dangerous for Black women to come into this space and say, well, it's radical and toxic and extreme to discuss our position in the world. They were only concerned about what they thought would be their growth and their development. Okay? I have never not been aware of the fact that when those conversations were being had, one of the things that those women were saying a few years back when I was briefly associated with someone was, well, don't have a conversation with this person or this person. And their intentions were not pure, right? Their intentions were not in anyone's best interest. But I've always paid attention to the fact that, like, dog, you went with it. You went with it. When they told you to not have Leah and Lolita on your platform, that people thought was a divestment platform, and you started introducing pro-blacks into the sector, you did that. As a matter of fact, hold on, let me type this right here. Good. You did that. You thought your space would grow if you called us radical, toxic, and extreme. And you literally have been behind campaigns that completely have lied on us. But like I have said before, and I will say again, when you are cool with people, supposedly, and then you turn on them, nobody else is going to trust you. You knew what you were introducing into the space, but you thought it would be to your benefit. And it's not just you. It's not just you. You all thought it would benefit you to call us radical, toxic, and extreme because you thought that it would help your subscriber base. But it hasn't at all. You all need the money from YouTube, but divestors do not. Now, when people donate to divestors, we appreciate it and we respect it. But let's be clear, it's not our sole source of income. But you knew it. You were telling Black women that it was okay to go on to panels and just be dragged and cussed out. You did that. Anyway, I'm going to log back off now, but I'm never going to stop talking about the fact that you had Black women who literally were telling us that we were wrong for wanting to protect the spaces that were created by Black women. You all wanted to water down what we were saying. You can't water down the news. You can't water down statistics. You can't do it. You can't water down the fact that you were coming online and bragging about a motherfucker that had a girlfriend. You were aware of that and you pursued him, and then you got him to have sex with you. You all got pregnant, and you thought that pregnancy would cause him to leave his girlfriend. But when you realized that he went back to his girl, his high school sweetheart, you, the same bitch who came on here talking about count money with motherfuckers, you then became an informant and turned him in. You turned him in. So all those situations you talk about where, oh, well, his sister's threatening to beat me up. Well, they're doing that because you see, you're the definition of a snitch. Okay. So there's a difference between being a person who does not participate in crimes and you see something and you report it. That's called being a law-abiding citizen. But when you are participating in certain things, but then you get in your feelings and you report it, you become a snitch. But you do that, and then you try to say, oh, well, God takes care of me. Bitch, no, the fuck he does not. Y'all talk about that Bible. You all claim to know it. In the South, we know that the Bible is a book of spells. Christian Black women in the South understand hoodoo. So you can't participate in something with a person and then get in your feelings and say, I've been changed, so I'm going to report them. That's not how it works. Did Jesus not tell you that he spat out the lukewarm? You can't praise him one day and then mock him in another. Do you understand that that's why that motherfucker was in churches and shit, throwing shit around, turning things the fuck up? So your basis for your change cannot be, oh, well, this man that I knew was in a relationship with another woman went back to that woman. And so now I'm going to inform on him. That's not a basis for change. That's not real. That's not sincere. But what will not happen is that you're not going to come on here and rewrite your history, because that's just not going to go. And the fact is that even if I don't agree with certain people, it's not cool to be friends supposedly with someone and to have recorded conversations with them for years. It's not cool to be supposedly friends with Nyla and recording her for years. And you came on, listen, you came onto this Google platform and admitted that you aligned yourself with the Black manosphere to take her channel down. You thought it was funny to help remove a channel that was a stream of income for a Black woman. Now, I don't know what is going on with her relationship. That's not my business. But you're on here talking about the fact that, according to you, she's being abused. If that is true, because listen, bitch, I don't believe anything that you say, but if she's being abused, why would that be funny? Why would that be a source of content? You came on here talking about another Black woman, Cynthia G. You're laughing about the fact that, according to you and others, she has a daughter. That daughter is a little black girl. You're laughing at the fact that the child's father, listen, we all know about that motherfucker, that kid. God bless that child. But the father ain't shit because he got kids everywhere and not a marriage in sight. But you laughed about that as you are in her same situation. And when that motherfucker talked about suing you, you said, well, I don't have anything, but. And then you went into what you think Cynthia G has. You thought it was funny to throw another black woman under the bus. But see, that's what you do. That's what the fuck you do. And even in your upload where you said, well, oh, I've supported black women living in hotels and shit. Well, okay, if you care about black women, why is that something that would be funny? I don't support Sansa or her content, but why is it funny that at the end of the day, this is a pregnant black woman who was in dire straits and she trusted you? You like to mention Bomb Cherry, but you fucked with that woman unnecessarily. At the end of the day, even though some of her content is what we would not support as divestors, but if you are a black women-centered content creator, why would you laugh at her? She seems to enjoy her life. Listen, she's mom, she's wife, she's grandmother, she's happy. But you have fucked with that woman in so many ways that it's like, it's crazy. It's crazy the shit that you did to that woman. Because at the end of the day, she's a black woman who was very open about the fact that she doesn't agree with some conversations, but she's willing to have the discussion. And you laughed at her and you displayed very personal pictures of her. And you never cared about the fact that ultimately she's a black woman in a black family. You never cared about that. And even though I do not fuck with Crystalline, I don't believe her to be genuine. I think that she is a grifter. But guess what? It is fucked up for a black woman to trust you enough to disclose things to you and you're recording her. Because let me tell you something, I have never recorded anyone. I just don't do that. My friend, my homegirl, she told me years ago, she was like, you know what? If she feels like she has to record a person, she just does not talk to them. And at the same time, I respect the black women who say, well, they record all of their conversations with people from the internet so that you at least know that going in. But I'm glad that you have publicly admitted that when Crystalline Carrison was talking to you, you were recording her. I'm glad that you said that. Whatever that raggedy ass bitch was going through, If she trusted you as a friend, it wasn't cool to record those conversations and to keep it years after the fact as an attempt to use it against her. And if you share that conversation or those conversations, it will show much more about you than it says about her. Lolita told you about Angel. I don't know him personally, but at the end of the day, as Black women, we have to be cautious about men who claim to love Black women, but it's like, okay, where is your marriage or relationship to a Black woman? What is the lifestyle that you are providing to a Black woman? And there's never been that in sight. And there are certain things that are being alleged about him in other spaces now. But you chose to have him on your platform and then called us triggered when we said, well, wait a minute. Why has he been engaged to this girl and there's not a marriage in sight? Like, why is that okay? And you're co-signing the disgruntled, right? Which is fine. You have the right to do that. But every time you do that, it lets me know that you are the one that is behind all of this bullshit. You're the one. You're the one that has come on here and lied and said that I'm copying you when I literally have the proof that I have had conversations about things prior to you doing it, right? We have those conversations. And at the end of the day, when Crystalline was sent the link that you are referring to, and she got onto the panel and she got exposed and she went onto her channel and got all of those donations, it was divested Black women who supported you. There were also Black women on Crystalline's channel saying, well, hey, if you've been through XYZ, and if women or whoever are mailing things to your family, you can report that to the Postmaster General. Do you all know that? If you get something in the mail that is malicious, you can report it to the Postmaster General and they will do the research. Crystalline never did that. And a lot of us were saying, okay, that's a problem. That's a red flag. And when we said that, again, we were labeled as radical, toxic, and extreme. The woman's name that you like to bring up so much, Bomb Cherry said, well, wait a minute. She said, wait a minute. Why are we not questioning this? Like, why does she need money for a police investigation? You don't have to have it. You just report it and they do what they do. If something comes of it, it is what it is. But when it comes to things being mailed, when you mail things across state lines and it's not true, or it's derogatory, it literally becomes a federal investigation. And Baum pointed out the fact that, well, wait a minute, this is a problem. And you dragged the hell out of that woman. So I'm not understanding the path we're on now, where it's, well, you're the victim, when actually you victimize other Black women, including those who you claimed to support. I don't care if I disagree with these hoes, but at the end of the day, it is fucked up to be cool with someone for years and to be recording conversations. That's fucked up. That's crazy. And then you had a conversation about Nyla where you said, well, oh no, well, we don't have to care about her because she has less than 10,000 subscribers. But why? You came online and admitted that you worked with Black men in the manosphere to take her channel down. But guess what, bitch? That girl channel gonna grow. That girl's an earth sign. Her channel is gonna grow and it's gonna do what the fuck it does. Whether I agree with Cynthia G or not, she is having national conversations. And the other thing that you whores are triggered about, okay, is that when it comes to divestment, listen and hear me clearly. DZ is that girl. She has been having the conversations that a lot of you were too scared, weak, and timid to have. She has been showing the proof and the statistics and has been telling Black women, like, hey, this is the truth. This is what is going on. A lot of these other girls were too afraid to have it because they were too clicked up with Black men. And they have used other Black women's trauma to try to thwart us from divestment. And I'm telling you, divestment is our line of safety. But these girls knew what they were introducing into the space because they wanted to water it down. They wanted to say that we were triggered by Black men. Bitch, I am not you at all. My parents are about to celebrate their 43rd wedding anniversary. And let's be clear, my dad has always known that if he fucked with my mom too much, she would leave. But he's never given her a reason to. They are two old Black people living in their house and being happy and with the kids and the grandkids. They have their dog, a boxer named Rocky, and they just do whatever the fuck old people do. I have other old Black family members and they just do whatever old people do. That is what I want for them, to be old and happy and to not have to be worried about being about their everyday business and coming across one of your sons. My brother just took my dad to the gun range the other day because my dad feels like he has to relearn how to shoot again to not deal with your old, fucked up, and raggedy ass sons. Because his father taught him how to shoot, and he was telling me, he was like, well, no, he needs to have a gun in the house because he doesn't feel like he can just be out and about. That's the world we live in, where even old, elderly Black people don't feel safe. And they do not feel like it's a good idea to support decriminalization efforts. Okay? So when you bitches say, oh, you're triggered by Black men, like, bitch, you don't know who the fuck you're talking to because I didn't let you know that. It wasn't your fucking business. But no, these elderly Black people that you claim to care about are out there getting their, listen, they're getting their gun permits. They're at the gun range because they know they gotta be ready to shoot. Because that's all you motherfuckers will understand. And Harriet Tubman knew that centuries ago. The only thing these motherfuckers will understand is fuck it. Always be prepared to hit the delete button on motherfuckers. Always. Because these people will do you the fuck in and not give a fuck. But those old Black people that raised me are known by law enforcement because they have no problem contacting the police. Because, see, all of you pro-Black bitches don't acknowledge, okay? You don't acknowledge that these men that you fuck with so much, they don't have a military, they don't have a law enforcement, they don't have anything to defend you. But guess what? All of these racist people that y'all talk about are the first to come in to protect these elderly people that you all claim to care about. Anyway, I hope you all enjoy your Sunday, but I'm so tired of people trying to recreate history because it's like, no, bitch, you are who the fuck you are. And if you're a raggedy ass bitch who snivels around people and see this bitch claimed to be so upset about Crystalline, but the whole time she was kissing that girl's ass in the background. Kissing her ass and calling us radical, toxic, and extreme. And expecting us to defend her. And literally befriended Black women like Cynthia G and Nyla, knowing the whole time she was mad that they cussed her out on a panel. And it's like, well, bitch, if you have a problem, say what the fuck your issue is and get the fuck over it. Because when it comes down to it, those girls are going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to build their channels, and guess what? They're going to outpace you. You're not going to be able to walk into those spaces. Because when other women background check you and they see that you are a convicted felon for literally trying to kill another Black woman, they're not going to want to have shit to do with you. And that is not a divestment issue. That's not an original BWE issue. That's the reality of life. Other groups of people are going to say, well, wait a minute. If you did this to this person, you will do it to me. Because something that Dr. Phil says, he said that the best indicator of future behavior is what people did in the past. So if you went with two men to fight another girl, if you scammed scores of other Black people, elderly Black people, and then turned on the very people you were doing it with, if you scammed on the man that rolled you over and knocked you up, and you turned him in because you were in your feelings about some shit that you knew before you fucked that nigga, you'll scam anyone. If you put your own mother in the position to have to raise your child, you'll scam anyone. But the thing is, you thought you could come onto the internet and scam other Black women. You thought you could come online and talk about Black women and talk about that PPE shit. And this is why I keep saying research shit for yourself. That whatever that shit was during COVID, listen, the federal government had said that all of the money that you would typically have to pay to get access to the information was waived. Everything was literally supposed to be free. You attempted to scam Nyla, okay? And you got all her information. But let me tell you something. She would have a major federal case against you if she wanted to pursue it. But you think other Black women are dumb. You think it's okay to exploit Black women. And then you come on here and say, well, no, I was a victim. Bitch, no, you weren't. And at the end of the day, all of these people you complained about were people that you were warned about. Lolita warned you, again, about Crystalline and Angel. Another young lady who I love and respect, and I know she has a different channel now, but Egypt Ann warned you about them girls. Auntie, even though she's crazy as hell, so I don't fucking associate with her, but she warned you about them. Cluster warned you about them. But guess what? You ignored it. You ignored it. And it's cool. Okay, if you hear something and you ignore it, right? That's cool. But what was not okay was for you to then look at the entire sector of divested Black women and label us as radical, toxic, and extreme for trying to warn you about the very trap that you walked into. And that's how everybody knows you are not guided by the Holy Spirit at all. Anyway, happy Sunday. And I'll probably do this over and over again until I get tired of it because fuck it, okay? I'm sick of this bitch. I'm sick of all the slick dissing. I don't want to have to worry about the stepsons when I know exactly where they come from. And you claim to care about Black women and Black children and your Black sons as you're caping for a woman who is documented by public records for abusing her oldest Black son and for lying on her disabled younger son who is apparently biracial. So you literally support child abuse if it means you get your bottom line, right? You made fun of that girl, right? You made fun of Cynthia G because apparently her child's father is in a relationship with another woman. You made fun of the fact that they're no longer together, as you literally have children with 3 different men who are not with you and they are not claiming you. Okay. So we'll continue this conversation whenever the fuck I feel like it. Because now that there's no one around you defending you, I have a direct line of sight.